I want you to hear this today. Everything in your life is moving, quietly yet powerfully, in your favor. Even if it doesn't feel that way right now, a shift is taking place and a big win is on its way to you. The secret lies not in what the world shows you, but in the inner world you cultivate. Every thought you allow, every feeling you entertain, shapes the reality that is being delivered to you. When you imagine the outcome you desire and truly feel it as already yours, the universe rearranges itself to bring it into your experience. Too often, we wait for the proof before believing. We look at circumstances, external events, or the opinions of others to decide what is possible. But the truth is, reality responds to your imagination first. What you hold firmly in your mind and heart manifests in your life. Trust that unseen forces are aligning, preparing every detail so that your big win cannot be delayed. Release the tension, release the worry. These are not signs that you are failing. They are signals that you are being asked to let go and allow. Step into the feeling of your victory now. See it, hear it, live it in your mind, and watch as the world bends to meet your expectation. Your imagination is not a playground. It is the workshop of reality. Persist in your inner vision. Persist in the assumption that your big win is not only coming, but that it is already yours. Feel the triumph, the joy, the relief, the freedom of your success now. By doing this, you are not chasing reality, you are creating it. So today, let your faith be greater than your doubt. Let your imagination guide you, and know that everything is shifting in your favor. Your big win is not somewhere in the distant future, it is near. Feel it, believe it, live it, and step confidently into the life you have been silently crafting all along. Your outer world is a mirror of your inner world. Every circumstance, every encounter, every challenge, and every opportunity you experience is a reflection of what you carry within your mind and heart. Most people live as if the external world is the ultimate authority, as if their reality is shaped by chance, luck, or other people's actions. But the truth is far more empowering. Your imagination is the seed of your reality, and the life you see outside begins first inside of you. When you vividly imagine your desired outcome and genuinely feel it as real, you are not merely entertaining a fantasy, you are creating the blueprint through which reality must align. The key is not just to think about your goal superficially, but to immerse yourself in it emotionally, to feel every nuance of its fulfillment as though it has already happened. This is what gives your inner vision its creative power. Every emotion, every sense of certainty, every conviction in your mind serves as a directive to the unseen forces orchestrating your life. When you cultivate the feeling of your success as already existing, you send a signal that cannot be ignored. Reality cannot resist the insistence of your belief. It bends and moves to accommodate the vivid, emotionally charged vision you carry. Many people stop short at imagining without feeling, or they feel desire tinged with doubt, and that mixture weakens the creative force. But when you embrace your vision fully, with confidence and joy, your inner world sets in motion a chain of events in the external world that will inevitably mirror it. This is why so often those who maintain a persistent inner vision find doors opening, coincidences occurring, and solutions appearing, often in ways they could not have anticipated. It is not magic in the whimsical sense. It is the natural law of creation responding to your inner state. The outer world cannot give you lasting fulfillment because it is only the reflection of what already exists within. When you align your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions with the reality you wish to see, you create a gravitational pull that draws circumstances, people, and opportunities toward the fulfillment of that vision. The clarity and intensity of your inner vision determine the speed and ease with which your desires manifest. Doubt and fear cloud the vision, scattering its energy, but a focused, emotionally charged imagination crystallizes your desired outcome into inevitability. Each moment you spend feeling your desired reality as already true strengthens the alignment of your outer world with your inner world. You begin to notice patterns, opportunities, and people that support your vision, and setbacks transform into guidance rather than obstacles. The key is persistence and emotional involvement. Keep returning to your inner vision, nurturing it with feeling, conviction, and faith. Over time, your outer world cannot help but shift because it is simply responding to the reality you have firmly established within. Imagination, when felt deeply, becomes irresistible, and your reality bends to reflect what your mind has already embraced. To assume the end means to live and act as though your desired outcome has already been fully realized. It is not merely hoping or wishing for a future event to occur. It is embodying the state of fulfillment in the present moment. When you assume the end, you step into the feeling of having already won, and you carry that state consistently in your thoughts, emotions, and actions. This practice creates a powerful alignment between your inner world and the external circumstances that must inevitably reflect it. Most people look at their current reality and conclude that their dreams are distant or unattainable, allowing circumstances to dictate their sense of possibility. They wait for proof before they feel victorious. But the law that governs creation works in the opposite direction. Reality conforms to the frequency of your inner belief, not the conditions outside of you. By assuming the end, you are setting your inner world on a frequency that magnetizes the external evidence to match it. It is not enough to simply imagine the end occasionally. You must live in that state persistently, feeling the emotions, embracing the confidence, and carrying the certainty as though the outcome has already occurred. When you do this, your mind begins to generate ideas, solutions, and actions that are consistent with the reality you have assumed. Opportunities begin to appear. Doors that were once closed swing open, and people who align with your vision come into your life. This is not coincidence. It is the natural response of life to the vibrational frequency you have adopted. The act of assuming the end also transforms the way you respond to challenges. Instead of reacting from fear, doubt, or lack, you respond from a place of confidence and abundance. Every setback is seen through the lens of inevitability as a temporary delay that ultimately reinforces the manifestation you have already assumed. This mental and emotional state rewires your perception, allowing you to recognize paths and possibilities that were invisible to those who are focused solely on the current reality. By feeling the completion of your goal, you generate a momentum that propels events toward its realization. Your body, mind, and spirit begin to harmonize with the reality you have assumed, creating coherence between your inner convictions and your outer action. As this alignment strengthens, the universe responds, rearranging circumstances and orchestrating events in ways that bring your assumption into tangible reality. The key is unwavering persistence. The mind may attempt to doubt, and the world may present contrary appearances, but the more consistently you live in the state of the fulfilled end, the faster your external reality will reflect it. To assume the end is to step out of waiting and into creation, to recognize that the victory you seek is already yours within, and that by embracing it fully, the universe will inevitably conform to the reality you have assumed. It is a practice of living in the certainty of your desired outcome, trusting that life is simply reflecting the inner state you maintain. Resistance is the silent force that keeps many people from experiencing the reality they desire. Doubt, fear, impatience, and worry create barriers that obstruct the flow of life's natural intelligence and delay the manifestation of your goals. The more you cling to skepticism or urgency, the more you reinforce the very obstacles you wish to overcome. Resistance arises when you question whether what you desire is possible, when you allow fear of failure or fear of the unknown to dominate your thoughts, or when you grow impatient with the timing of life. These mental and emotional tensions act like walls between you and your desired outcome, keeping it at a distance. To release resistance is to surrender, not in the sense of giving up, but in the sense of trusting completely in the unseen forces that are orchestrating your life. The universe, or the intelligence that governs creation, is always at work. It moves quietly, arranging people, circumstances, and opportunities in perfect alignment with the state of mind you maintain. Yet, if you are tense, skeptical, or impatient, you disrupt this delicate process. By releasing resistance, you stop adding friction to your own path. Letting go of doubt means no longer questioning whether your desire is attainable. It means holding unwavering faith that what you have imagined, what you have felt as real, is already in motion toward manifestation. Letting go of fear requires embracing trust and confidence, understanding that whatever appears in your external world is part of the process and ultimately serves your higher purpose. Releasing impatience involves surrendering control over timing, recognizing that the unseen forces work with perfect precision, often in ways you cannot yet comprehend. This does not mean passive waiting. On the contrary, it means active alignment, cultivating thoughts, emotions, and assumptions that support the reality you wish to see, while simultaneously trusting that life is moving toward your fulfillment. Every moment spent resisting delays the inevitable, while every moment spent in calm trust accelerates it. Releasing resistance also transforms how you experience setbacks and delays. Instead of reacting with frustration or fear, you learn to see each moment as a guidepost, a step in the unfolding process, or an opportunity to refine your inner state. You stop blaming circumstances or external factors and begin to focus entirely on the alignment between your inner world and your desired outcome. The more consistently you practice letting go, the more natural it becomes. Doubts arise, but you acknowledge them without feeding them. Fear appears, but you recognize it as a signal to return to trust. Impatience surfaces, but you consciously release it, knowing that life's timing is perfect. In doing so, you create a state of openness, allowing the unseen forces to work unhindered, bringing circumstances, people, and events into harmony with the reality you have imagined. Trusting the unseen process is not theoretical, it is a lived experience. It is the calm confidence that what is yours is already moving toward you and nothing can prevent its arrival. Resistance dissolves when you surrender fully to this truth, allowing life to flow effortlessly toward your manifestation. Success is not something that exists only in the distant future. It is a state of consciousness that can be fully experienced in the present moment. Too often, people postpone their happiness, telling themselves they will feel relief, joy, or triumph only after reaching a goal, receiving recognition, or achieving a certain milestone. This thinking keeps them in a perpetual state of waiting, as if success is a destination to arrive at rather than a condition to inhabit. To live in the feeling of success means to immerse yourself fully in the emotions associated with your victory, as though it has already occurred. It is not an act of wishful thinking or pretending. It is the deliberate cultivation of the inner state that naturally precedes outer manifestation. When you feel the joy of having achieved your goal, your mind and body are signaling to the universe that this reality is already real. You create a vibrational match between your inner experience and the external circumstances that will reflect it. Imagine the relief of overcoming a long-standing challenge, the satisfaction of seeing your efforts bear fruit, the exhilaration of receiving what you have long desired. Allow yourself to inhabit these feelings now. Let them permeate every thought, every gesture, every breath. The universe responds to the intensity of this feeling, aligning circumstances, people, and opportunities to match the state you carry within. Living in the feeling also transforms the way you approach daily life. Instead of acting from anxiety, lack, or frustration, you begin to move through each moment with the confidence and assurance of someone who has already won. Your decisions, words, and actions emanate from this state, creating a coherence between your inner and outer world. This coherence is magnetic. Others are drawn to your energy. Doors that once seemed closed open naturally, and challenges are met with solutions that align with the reality you are feeling. The key to this practice is consistency. Feeling the joy, relief, and triumph of your success once or sporadically is not enough. You must make it a continuous state of consciousness, returning to it whenever doubt or fear arises. By doing so, you reinforce the inner reality that your outer world will inevitably mirror. Living in the feeling also dissolves the tension that comes from waiting for external validation. When you inhabit the emotions of your fulfilled goal, you no longer depend on circumstances to confirm your worth or progress. You become self-sufficient in your experience of success, and this independence accelerates manifestation. Every day, every moment spent in this state deepens the alignment between who you are internally and what you see externally. Success becomes not a distant prize, but a natural present reality. By consistently feeling the reality of your desired outcome as if it is already yours, you bypass struggle, doubt, and delay. You live in the reality you wish to experience, and the world around you must respond. True mastery of manifestation lies not in chasing goals, but in feeling them deeply in the present, allowing your inner state of joy, relief, and triumph to shape the world you inhabit. Faith without evidence is the cornerstone of true transformation. Most people look to the outside world for confirmation of their desires, waiting for signs, results, or tangible proof before they allow themselves to believe in what they want. They examine circumstances, analyze outcomes, and judge the likelihood of success based on what they see. This approach, however, is fundamentally backward. The external world is only a reflection of the inner state, and waiting for it to align before trusting is like trying to see a reflection before holding the mirror. True transformation begins within, in the quiet realm of imagination and unwavering conviction. Faith without evidence means trusting in the reality of your desires, even when the world appears to contradict them. It is the act of holding an inner certainty that what you seek is already moving toward you, regardless of external appearances. This kind of faith is not passive or naive. It is active, deliberate, and deeply rooted in the understanding that your inner state is the source of all manifestation. When you maintain unwavering faith in the unseen, you align yourself with the creative forces of the universe. Doubt, fear, and the need for proof create dissonance that disrupts the flow of manifestation. But when you persist in belief, even in the absence of evidence, you establish a magnetic frequency that draws circumstances and opportunities into harmony with your vision. Faith without evidence also changes your perception of challenges and delays. Setbacks, obstacles, or apparent failures are no longer indicators that your desires are impossible. Instead, they become temporary appearances, reflections of timing or adjustment, not final judgments on your ability to achieve what you envision. The unseen forces are continuously at work, orchestrating details, aligning events, and preparing the path for your manifestation. Your role is to maintain the inner state of certainty, to live as though your desired outcome is inevitable. This unwavering faith acts as a signal, a vibration that life cannot ignore. The universe responds, often in ways you could not have anticipated, because the creative power of faith operates beyond the limitations of linear thinking. Every action, every choice, every thought becomes infused with confidence, clarity, and alignment when faith is maintained without evidence. You stop reacting from fear, scarcity, or uncertainty, and you begin to act from a place of certainty and inevitability. This is why those who master faith without evidence often experience seemingly miraculous manifestations. They do not wait for the world to validate their vision, they validate it from within. They know that the unseen is real and that it is always working on their behalf. Transformation, therefore, is not a matter of accumulating proof or controlling external circumstances. It is the cultivation of an inner state of unwavering faith, a steady belief in the inevitability of your desired reality. When you maintain this faith, you bypass doubt, attract the necessary conditions, and watch as the world rearranges itself to match the certainty you hold within. Faith without evidence is the ultimate demonstration of creative power, the act of trusting the unseen and knowing beyond any doubt that what you desire is already yours. Your imagination is far more than a mental playground or a place for idle daydreaming. It is the workshop where your entire reality is conceived and brought into being. Every circumstance, opportunity, and outcome you experience begins first as a thought, a vision, a feeling, nurtured in your mind. Those who understand this law know that imagination is not a passive activity. It is the creative engine that shapes everything you see in the external world. To persist in imagination means to deliberately cultivate the inner scene of your desired reality, repeatedly, with feeling. until it becomes a living, tangible experience in your outer life. Most people allow their imaginations to wander aimlessly, entertaining fears, doubts, and scenarios that keep them stuck in a state of lack or limitation. In contrast, the individual who persistently focuses on a specific desired outcome is intentionally directing the creative forces that govern life. This is not about mere wishful thinking. It is about consciously constructing the mental and emotional blueprint of your victory, seeing it clearly, feeling it deeply, and returning to it consistently, day after day, moment after moment. The persistence of imagination ensures that the inner scene becomes indelibly impressed upon your consciousness. When you rehearse your success vividly in your mind, your subconscious mind begins to accept it as reality, and your outer world begins to conform accordingly. This is why repetition, intensity, and emotional involvement are so critical. A fleeting thought or a passing fantasy has little power, but a sustained, emotionally charged inner scene creates momentum that cannot be ignored by the creative forces of the universe. Persisting in your imagination also changes the way you perceive obstacles. Challenges that appear in the external world no longer dissuade or discourage you because your inner scene remains intact and unshaken. You continue to act and think in alignment with your vision, knowing that what is unseen will inevitably manifest. Over time, the clarity and consistency of your imagination magnetize people, circumstances, and opportunities that support the realization of your goal. Doors open, coincidences occur, and what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Persistence of imagination is also an exercise in faith and patience. The external world may lag behind the inner vision, but by continuing to nurture the scene in your mind, you bridge the gap between what is and what will be. Your imagination becomes a signal, a vibrational anchor that holds the desired reality in place until it can appear tangibly. Every time you return to your inner scene, you are reinforcing the blueprint, deepening the conviction that your victory is not only possible but inevitable. In this way, your imagination becomes both a rehearsal and a rehearsal stage, a laboratory where the future is tested and refined until it is ready to manifest. The more persistently you engage in this practice, the more powerfully your inner world shapes your external world. By understanding that imagination is the workshop of reality, and by committing to its persistent cultivation, you align yourself with the forces of creation, ensuring that the victory you hold in mind eventually becomes the reality you experience. In conclusion, everything we have explored today points to one undeniable truth. Your inner world shapes your outer reality. By harnessing the power of your imagination, assuming the end, releasing resistance, living fully in the feeling of your success, maintaining unwavering faith without evidence, and persistently nurturing your vision, you are setting in motion forces that align the universe in your favor. Your big win is not a distant possibility, it is already on its way, responding to the clarity, emotion, and conviction you cultivate within. Trust the process. Embrace the feeling of your victory now and watch as life unfolds perfectly to reflect what you have held as real. Remember, the unseen is always working for you, and every shift you make within brings your desires closer to manifestation. Step into your power, Remain consistent in your inner work and know that everything is indeed shifting in your favor. Thank you. There is a stirring inside you right now. You can feel it, a sensation that life is shifting, moving, rising. Something big and beautiful is on its way into your reality, and your only task is to stay ready for it. Every desire you carry is not random. You did not imagine greatness by mistake. What you want is already yours in the invisible. There is a version of you who already has the life you dream of, the success, the love, the breakthroughs, the abundance, and that version of you is calling, pulling you forward, reminding you that destiny is not somewhere you go, it's something you awaken to. The greatest secret you must never forget is this: what you assume to be true eventually becomes true. When you walk, speak, and think as though your blessing is guaranteed, you summon it closer. When you prepare for what you've asked for, you declare yourself worthy of receiving it. So ask yourself, are you thinking like the person who already received the miracle? Are you preparing your life for the arrival of what you prayed for? Are you behaving like someone who knows the blessing isn't coming? It's here. To stay ready is to live from the end. It is to celebrate the harvest even while the seeds are still underground. It is to decorate the room before the guest arrives, because you know the knock on the door is certain. Feel the fulfillment now. Feel the joy in advance. The feeling is the magnet, and it is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. Your breakthrough is already moving. The path is being cleared. People you've never met are waking up today with a desire to bless you. Doors that were locked are weakening. Delays are dissolving. Circumstances are turning in your favor in ways you cannot yet comprehend. This is not wishful thinking. This is alignment. This is not hoping. This is knowing. Gratitude is your access point. The more thankful you become for what is and what is coming, the faster your blessing rushes toward you. Appreciation tells the universe, I am ready, I am expecting, I am prepared. So live like the miracle is inevitable, because it is. Walk like the breakthrough is guaranteed, because it is. Dream like the manifestation has begun, because it has. Something big and beautiful is already on its way to you. Not next year, not someday. Now. Stay ready. Stay expectant. Stay aligned. Your destiny is not approaching, it is arriving. The life you are living right now is not a result of luck, chance, or random circumstance. It is the reflection of the ideas, beliefs, and assumptions you have accepted within yourself over time. Your inner world, the thoughts you rehearse, the emotions you nurture, the mental pictures you return to again and again, is continually shaping the world you experience on the outside. Nothing manifests in your physical reality without first being conceived in consciousness. What you entertain within eventually expresses itself without. For the unseen is the origin of all things seen. Every desire you hold is a preview of what is possible for you. When you imagine a future that excites you, that vision is not fantasy, it is permission. Your imagination is showing you what already exists in a higher dimension of self. To manifest it, You must become intimately familiar with that future before it materializes in your hands. You must walk in it, feel it, claim it, and experience it internally as though it were already yours. The world simply mirrors back the state of being you consistently embody. If you think thoughts of limitation, life will appear limited. If you expect disappointment, disappointment will find you. But if you dare to live in the feeling of fulfillment, even when the evidence has not yet arrived, you activate a powerful force that compels reality to rise to your belief. The imagination is not just a place to escape the world, it is where you design it. Every great achievement, invention, love story, or transformation began as an inner knowing long before others could see it. You cannot wait for the external world to change before changing how you feel. That is the mistake many people make. They wait for the relationship to feel loved. They wait for the money to feel secure. They wait for the success to feel worthy. But waiting keeps you stuck in the absence of what you want. Creation responds not to what you lack, but to what you assume. To receive more love, you must feel love within. To experience abundance, you must think abundantly. To live a life of joy, you must nourish joy internally first. Living from the end means choosing the state of the wish fulfilled right now. It means aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the version of you who already has the outcome. You become the one who is chosen, who is wealthy, who is celebrated long before the world acknowledges it. And because your internal shift is real and vibrant, your external life has no option but to conform. The universe always yields to the strongest assumption. Your imagination is the spiritual blueprint of your future. When you give consistent attention to what you desire instead of what you fear, you transform the direction of your life. What you accept as truth within yourself becomes the law by which your experiences unfold. Therefore, honor your imagination. Trust your inner vision. Live boldly in the reality you choose, not the one you have been conditioned to accept. The moment you claim the future inside you is the moment that future begins to materialize around you. Faith is not merely believing that something beautiful can happen. It is living as though it already has. Real faith is demonstrated in preparation. When you prepare for what you desire, before any sign has appeared, you declare to the universe that you are confident in its arrival. You don't wait for the miracle to show up before you begin acting like someone who is blessed. You live from the certainty that the blessing is already yours, and your preparation becomes the evidence of that inner conviction. Most people think they should start preparing once they see progress, once the opportunity appears, once the result is visible. But that mindset is rooted in doubt and fear. Waiting means you are still unsure. Preparation means you know. When you take the steps ahead of time, you are essentially saying, I trust that what I desire is on its way. I am aligning my life with the outcome I expect. This alignment is not symbolic, it is creative. It generates momentum, it opens doors, it speeds up manifestation. Think of it like planting a seed. You do not wait for the first sprout before watering the soil. You do not question whether a tree will grow when you have already planted its seed. You water, you nurture, you protect it, because you understand growth is happening beneath the surface, even when you cannot see it. Your manifestations work the same way. Just because nothing appears to be happening does not mean the miracle is not in motion. Most transformation begins invisibly. Preparation is how you continue to say yes to your desire during the invisible stage. Ask yourself, if the life you prayed for arrived today, would you be ready? If the opportunity you keep asking for showed up at your door, would you have the space for it? If the relationship you dream of entered your life right now, would you be emotionally prepared to receive love? If your financial breakthrough came tomorrow, would you know what to do with it? Many people want the blessing but maintain a life that rejects it. Its preparation is how you make room. It is how you clear the path. When you prepare, you shift your identity. You stop being someone who is hoping and waiting, and you become someone who is expecting and receiving. You act like the version of yourself who has already succeeded. You make decisions from abundance instead of fear. You speak with confidence instead of uncertainty. You take steps forward instead of standing still. The universe responds to the energy of readiness. Every small act of preparation signals faith. Clean the space. Organize your finances. Practice the skill. Strengthen the habit. Dress for the position. Live as though the results are guaranteed, because they are, when you align with them fully. Miracles manifest where readiness resides. When you carry the attitude that what you desire is inevitable, life rushes to meet you in that belief. Preparation is not just a task, it is a declaration: I am ready for what I asked for. And when you remain ready, the blessing has no choice but to arrive. To presume the end is to live from the victory before the battle is ever seen. It means stepping into the energy and emotion of your desire as though it has already manifested, regardless of what your current circumstances show. When you feel the joy, peace, and fulfillment of the outcome now, you send a clear message to the universe. This is my reality. And when the universe receives that message, it begins rearranging every detail of your life to reflect the assumption you have accepted. Most people assume the opposite. They assume delay, they assume disappointment, they assume that life is hard and that what they want is far away. Without realizing it, they hold on to worry, fear, and doubt. And the universe faithfully mirrors that back. You cannot expect abundance while assuming lack. You cannot attract love while assuming rejection. You cannot experience success while assuming unworthiness. Your assumption is your frequency, and life always aligns with the frequency you choose. Assuming the end is a bold and revolutionary act. It means no longer pleading for the desire, but possessing it internally. You stop asking when will it happen, and instead you declare, it is done. You stop hoping for it and begin thanking for it. You no longer consume your energy worrying about the how. You rest in the knowing that the how will unfold naturally. The moment you shift from wanting to having in your mind, your external world begins to transform. Feeling is the fuel. It is not enough to think about the end. You must emotionally live inside it. Imagination alone is the blueprint, but emotion animates the blueprint into physical form. When you feel the joy of success in advance, the warmth of love in advance, the relief of abundance in advance, your nervous system accepts that experience as real. And once your inner state changes, your outer world must change to match it. Reality has no power except to reflect the assumptions you hold within. Ask yourself, if everything you desire were already yours, how would you speak? How would you walk? How would you treat yourself? How would you treat others? How would your thoughts shift? Begin to embody those answers now. Your new behavior is a signal of your new belief. Even if your senses tell a different story, even if nothing looks different yet, remain in the feeling of the fulfilled desire. The senses show you the past. Imagination reveals the future. Do not let the visible world convince you to abandon the miracle that is forming. Assume the end with confidence. Assume it with gratitude. Assume it with joy. Nourish the inner reality that you have chosen, and do not waver when old circumstances try to pull you backward. Transformation often happens quietly, beneath the surface, until suddenly everything is different. The moment you become the person who already has what they desire, the universe rushes to catch up. When you feel the end as your truth, life must reveal it as your experience. The world around you begins to change the moment something changes within you. Long before the breakthrough becomes visible, it announces itself through subtle inner shifts. A new thought, a sudden burst of hope, a renewed excitement, a quiet knowing that something greater is forming. These internal signs are not coincidence. They are the first evidence that your desire is coming into being. The transformation always begins in the invisible realm, and your intuition is the messenger that speaks before the manifestation appears. You may feel a new sense of peace about things that once made you anxious. You may no longer be reacting to the same triggers. You may find yourself dreaming bigger, believing deeper, thinking more powerfully. You may catch yourself smiling for no apparent reason, simply because something inside you knows the story is turning. These feelings are not illusions or temporary emotional highs. They are spiritual confirmations that your energy has shifted and that the external world must soon follow. When your mindset elevates, your life elevates. When your self-concept rises, your opportunities rise. When your expectation changes, your circumstances change. The universe cannot deny what you have already accepted within. So, when you start to notice that your thoughts are becoming more aligned, your confidence is strengthening, and your heart is opening again, recognize that these are signs of progress, not random moments. Often we become impatient when we cannot yet see physical results. We ask why nothing is happening, why nothing looks different. But the truth is that the most crucial work is done outside of you. A seed is transforming long before it breaks through the soil. A butterfly is forming long before its wings are seen. Likewise, your life is being rearranged long before you witness the breakthrough with your eyes. The shift you feel is the announcement that change is underway. Pay attention to the synchronicities, the right people showing up, the right message arriving at the perfect time, the opportunities that seem to appear out of nowhere. Notice how obstacles start to dissolve or no longer intimidate you. Notice how your standards rise, how you no longer settle, how you feel drawn to environments that uplift rather than drain you. These are not small things. They are the universe guiding you into alignment with the new reality you've chosen. Trust the signs, trust the timing, trust your inner knowing. When you feel an irreversible shift in your spirit, when you know deep in your bones that something good is coming, that knowing is the first stage of the miracle. Do not dismiss it. Celebrate it. Your breakthrough isn't just near, it has already begun. The shift you feel within is the proof that creation is unfolding on your behalf. Stay open, stay grateful, stay ready. What has started within you will soon manifest around you in ways that exceed your imagination. Your greatest desires are not accidents. They are not fantasies randomly placed in your mind. They are divine promises, glimpses of a future that already exists for you in a higher realm of possibility. The moment a dream is given to you, it comes with the provision for its fulfillment. You were shown the vision because you are meant to walk in it. If it were not yours, you would not feel such a deep connection to it. Desire is not a sign of lack, it is a sign of destiny. Every dream is a calling. It calls you to expand, to rise, to become the version of yourself who can live that reality effortlessly. The desire itself is proof that the blessing is already prepared. It is not asking you to create something from nothing. It is asking you to reveal what is already written for you. When you feel a longing in your heart, that longing is life saying, "This is your path. This is your future. This is what belongs to you." You are not chasing anything. You are remembering what is already yours. Too often, people doubt their dreams because they seem too big. They question whether they are worthy enough, capable enough, or lucky enough. They try to shrink their desires to match their current circumstances. But your dreams are not meant to fit where you are. They are designed to lead you where you are destined to go. You are not given a desire to taunt you. You are given a desire to transform you. Let go of the idea that you must earn your dream. You are not trying to convince the universe to bless you. You are learning to accept the blessing that has always been yours. Your role is not to struggle or worry about how it will happen. Your role is to believe, to align, to prepare, to step into the identity of the person who already possesses the desire. The path unfolds the moment you say yes internally. Think about the things that excite you, inspire you, and call your spirit forward. The career that lights you up, the love that feels like home, the success that feels natural in your soul. Those desires are not random preferences. They are signposts pointing you toward the life your Creator intended for you. The dream chose you as much as you chose it. Instead of asking, "Can this really happen for me?" ask, "Why else would this desire be placed in my heart, unless it is already mine?" The answer will always reassure you. Your dreams are divine promises waiting for your agreement. Trust the desire. Honor it. Claim it as your truth. When you embrace a dream with certainty, the universe orchestrates every detail in your favor. People will appear, opportunities will open, resources will flow. The dream that once felt distant will become your daily reality. Your desire is your permission slip for greatness. If you were shown the dream, it is because you are destined to live it. All you need to do now is believe and allow what is promised to unfold. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces in creation because it shifts your energy from wanting to having, from longing to receiving. When you appreciate the blessings already present in your life, you align yourself with the vibration of abundance. Gratitude tells the universe, "I see what you've done for me, and I trust what you're preparing next." That trust creates momentum. It opens the door for more blessings to flow in with ease and speed. So many people wait for their lives to change before they feel grateful. They postpone appreciation until the manifestation is complete. But gratitude is not the result of blessings. Gratitude is the cause. It is the catalyst that accelerates what you desire. When you say thank you for what hasn't yet arrived, you proclaim that it is already yours. You step into the reality of fulfillment and invite the external world to reflect that truth. Gratitude transforms your perspective. Instead of focusing on what is missing, you become aware of what is present: love, breath, opportunities, potential, guidance. The more you value what you have, the more you discover you have always been supported. The universe is constantly working on your behalf, arranging details, introducing you to people, and guiding you toward greater experiences. Gratitude helps you recognize these subtle miracles and magnifies them into greater ones. When you appreciate even the challenges, you shift from resisting life to cooperating with it. You learn that every delay carries purpose. Every struggle builds strength. Every closed door redirects you to something better. Gratitude turns frustration into faith. It transforms impatience into expectancy. It keeps your heart open when doubt tries to close it. Every day, practice feeling thankful for the desires that are making their way to you. Feel grateful for the dream you are becoming lined with. Feel grateful for the progress you cannot see yet, but can sense within. When you give thanks in advance, you anchor the future into the present moment. You bridge the invisible and the visible. Gratitude is not passive, it is creative. It changes your emotion frequency and clears the path for manifestation. A grateful mind attracts more to be grateful for. A complaining mind attracts more to complain about. Life always mirrors your dominant attitude. So choose the attitude that draws blessings instead of blocking them. Every thank you is a signal. Every moment of appreciation is an invitation. You are telling the universe, "More of this, please," and the universe responds. Right now, count the gifts that surround you: the breath in your lungs, the strength in your soul, the miracle of another day. Smile at the path you are on and the one unfolding ahead. The door has already begun to open. Gratitude will swing it wider. Appreciate what is, celebrate what's coming, and watch how quickly your life rises to meet the praise you give it. Every desire that lives in your heart is already alive in the unseen. The moment you choose to believe in the beauty of what is coming, you give permission for miracles to unfold. Stay ready, stay aligned, and stay grateful. Feel the victory now. Walk like the blessing is already yours. Trust the signs that are guiding you, and celebrate every shift within, because something big and beautiful is not just on the way, it has already begun. Your future is waiting to meet the version of you who believes. Thank you for being here, thank you for listening, and thank you for having the courage to expect more from your life. The best is not ahead, the best is arriving now. There comes a point in every journey when it seems like nothing is working. You've prayed, believed, visualized, and still no sign. But listen carefully. Everything is coming together for you, even now. The delays, detours, and disappointments are not denials. They are divine rearrangements. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. In the unseen realm, forces are moving, threads are weaving, and pathways are forming in your favor. The universe is orchestrating a symphony you cannot yet hear. Just because your physical eyes see no change does not mean nothing is happening. What you cannot see is often more powerful than what you can. There is a sacred law. What you hold in your inner world must eventually manifest in your outer one. The seed planted in faith cannot die. It must grow when nurtured by persistence. Your imagination is the workshop of creation. Every image you hold in your mind with feeling and belief is forming substance in the invisible. When you imagine yourself already successful, already healed, already at peace, something within you shifts. That shift is not make-believe, it is creation in motion. You become magnetized to that reality, and that reality becomes magnetized to you. The unseen begins to shape itself into form. Do not be deceived by appearances. Many give up because they believe the silence means rejection. But the silence is not rejection, it's preparation. The universe takes time to align every detail so that when the blessing comes, it fits perfectly, effortlessly. Your role is not to rush it, but to remain faithful to your inner conviction. When everything seems darkest, when doubt whispers that it's useless to go on, that's the moment to stand firm, because the night always turns into morning, and you are closer than you think. The energy of faith is cumulative. Every act of belief adds momentum to your unfolding miracle. Keep affirming, it's already done. My path is clear. Everything is coming together for my good. Speak it, even when nothing supports it. Feel it, even when you see no sign of it, because your feeling is the evidence of the unseen. Remember this, it's easy to believe when things look good, but true power is believing when nothing looks possible. That's when creation happens. That's when the invisible becomes visible. That's when you prove the divine power within you. So, don't give up. Don't surrender your vision to temporary conditions. The waiting is not wasted. It's the womb of your next miracle. Keep imagining, keep believing, keep moving forward with quiet confidence. Because one day soon you'll look back and realize every delay, every tear, every test was necessary to bring you here, to the fulfillment of everything you once imagined. Everything is coming together for you. Don't give up, just keep going. Everything begins in the unseen. Long before a flower blooms, the seed rests quietly beneath the surface, hidden from sight, yet filled with purpose. The same is true for your desires. What you long for, peace, success, healing, love, abundance, already exists in the invisible realm, waiting for you to recognize it as yours. The moment you believe and feel it as real within, you activate the divine power that transforms the unseen into the seen. Nothing ever appears in your outer life that was not first accepted in your inner world. You may not realize it, but every thought, every feeling, every assumption you hold is creative. The mind is not a passive observer. It is a spiritual workshop where reality is shaped. When you close your eyes and imagine a life of fulfillment, and when that vision feels natural to you, you are doing the most powerful work there is. You are not daydreaming. You are constructing. You are setting in motion an unseen chain of events that will ultimately rearrange circumstances to match what you have already accepted within. The invisible realm is more real than the visible, for it is the source from which all things arise. Every great invention, every piece of art, Every world-changing idea began first as an image in the unseen. The same divine process works in your life. When you choose to believe that your desire already exists, when you feel the joy of its fulfillment in your heart, you are aligning yourself, the energy of creation itself. The outer world cannot resist this alignment for long. It must eventually reflect what you persistently hold as true. The key is faith, not as blind hope, but as inner knowing. Faith is the quiet confidence that even though you cannot yet see it, the reality you've claimed is already complete in spirit. You don't need to strive or struggle. You only need to remain faithful to that inner picture. The more you revisit it, feel it, and dwell in it, the stronger its pull becomes. Life begins to rearrange itself. People appear, opportunities arise, and doors open seemingly by coincidence. But nothing is accidental. You have called it forth by the creative power of your belief. Never be deceived by appearances. The invisible comes first, and the visible merely follows. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You trust the process. Likewise, trust that your unseen creation is unfolding perfectly. Hold to the feeling of already having it, and your faith will translate the unseen into form. You are not waiting for creation to happen, you are living within it now. Every fulfilled desire begins as an inner conviction. When you believe and feel as though it is already yours, the universe cannot help but mirror that truth back to you. What you desire is not far away. It is already formed, awaiting your recognition. Creation begins in the invisible, and once you accept that, you become the conscious author of your destiny. Delay is never denial. What looks like nothing happening is often everything happening behind the scenes. Life has its own rhythm, a divine timing that cannot be rushed or delayed. When you feel stuck or uncertain, when doors seem closed or paths unclear, understand that you are not being punished, you are being prepared. What feels like a pause is really a process. The universe is rearranging people, events, and circumstances to align perfectly with the outcome you've envisioned. Every dream has a gestation period. Just as nature requires time to turn a seed into a tree, your desires need time to take root and mature. You cannot force a flower to bloom before its season, and you cannot rush divine timing. When you believe something isn't working because you cannot see movement, you misunderstand how creation operates. The invisible work must always come first. The delay is a sacred part of the unfolding. It ensures that when your desire manifests, it will arrive in wholeness, not in fragments. When you begin to live from faith instead of frustration, you start to see the beauty of divine timing. What looks like stagnation is often alignment, pieces being placed in the right order, opportunities being prepared, and people being guided to cross your path. The universe operates with precision. Nothing is random. The timing that seems late is often the timing that saves you from mistakes, teaches you deeper trust, and prepares you to handle the blessing when it arrives. If everything came instantly, you would never develop patience, wisdom, or gratitude. The waiting season refines you. It strengthens your faith and clears away resistance. Many times the universe delays what you ask for because it wants to give you more than what you imagined. While you think nothing is happening, everything is being arranged for your ultimate good. The very obstacles that seem to stand in your way are often guiding you toward a greater path than the one you originally planned. You must learn to trust the divine sequence. When your heart says yes, but life says wait, hold on to your vision. Keep your inner faith alive even when the outer world gives you no evidence. The moment you begin to doubt, remind yourself, what's meant for you cannot miss you. Every delay carries divine intelligence. It's not the universe saying no, it's saying not yet. And when not yet becomes now, it will make perfect sense. Do not measure progress by sight alone. The unseen alignment is working with precision beyond your understanding. The job, the opportunity, the relationship, the dream, it's all in motion, moving toward you even as you wait. You are not forgotten, you are being positioned. Keep believing, keep trusting, and keep preparing as though it's already done. Because one day the doors will open effortlessly, and you'll realize that every delay was a setup for perfect timing. The universe never denies. Persistence is the invisible bridge that connects what you desire to what you eventually experience. Every dream, every goal, every manifestation passes through the corridor of persistence before it becomes reality. Many begin with passion and enthusiasm, but only those who persist, those who hold a vision in the face of delay, doubt, and disappointment, reach the fulfillment of what they imagine. The journey between desire and manifestation is not about struggle, but about steadfast faith. It is about standing firm in your inner conviction, even when the outer world gives you no reason to believe. When you persist in faith, you declare that your inner reality is more powerful than external circumstances. You may not yet see the results, but you continue to feel and live as though the promise is already fulfilled. That unwavering state of belief creates a magnetic force that draws your vision into form. The universe responds not to fleeting wishes, but to consistent conviction. Persistence tells creation, I already know this is mine, and the unseen forces align accordingly. Most people give up not because their dream was impossible, but because they surrendered to appearances. They look at the lack, the delay, the difficulty, and assume it means failure. But appearances are only the temporary shadows of your old thoughts. When you persist in a new state of belief long enough, those shadows dissolve and a new reality emerges. Every great creator understands this. What you assume to be true and persist in as though it were already done must harden into fact. Persistence is not forcing or begging, it is quiet confidence. It is the calm assurance that comes from knowing the law of creation cannot fail. You may fall, you may grow weary, but you return to the feeling of fulfillment again and again until it becomes natural. You persist in thought until it becomes your automatic state. And once the mind accepts it as normal, life reflects it as fact. Every obstacle you face tests your persistence. Every delay whispers, do you still believe? And your answer must always be yes. Keep imagining. Keep affirming. Keep walking by faith and not by sight. The universe rewards those who refuse to let temporary appearances dictate their truth. The more you persist, the more powerful your belief becomes, and the stronger the bridge between desire and manifestation grows. Persistence is not about time. It's about depth. It's about how deeply you've accepted your vision as already real. The person who persists without wavering steps directly into the reality they once imagined. So do not be discouraged by how long it takes. Stay faithful to your inner vision, because once your inner world is consistent, the outer must conform. Those who persist in faith, regardless of appearances, always walk straight into the world they've imagined. Assume the feeling of fulfillment, and you begin to live from the end rather than toward it. To assume is to accept inwardly that what you desire is already yours, that it has already happened in the unseen realm. This is not pretending or wishful thinking, it is a shift in consciousness. The moment you feel the reality of your desire, you awaken the creative power within that draws circumstances, people, and opportunities into harmony with that state. Your inner world becomes the blueprint that the outer world must eventually follow. Most people live in a constant state of wanting. They speak, think, and feel from lack, hoping for change, but never assuming the change has already occurred. Yet the law of creation works through assumption. What you feel yourself to be determines what you will experience. If you feel poor, you continue to attract lack. If you feel unloved, you continue to attract rejection. But the instant you assume the feeling of already having your desire, wealth, love, success, peace, you activate the unseen forces that transform your world to match that vibration. Feeling is the secret key. Words alone do not create, emotion does. When your imagination and feeling become one, you move creation from potential to reality. Close your eyes and live inwardly as though your dream were already fulfilled. Feel the relief, the joy, the gratitude of it is done. Dwell in that emotion until it feels natural, until you no longer crave it because you have already become it in consciousness. The universe does not respond to words. It responds to states of being. When you assume the feeling of fulfillment, you are no longer chasing your desire, you are radiating it. The world reflects back what you are, not what you wish for. Every time you return to that inner state, you strengthen its magnetic pull. Outer circumstances begin to shift subtly at first, then dramatically, as everything reorganizes itself to match the frequency you are emitting. What once seemed impossible begins to flow effortlessly, because your assumption has become your reality. Doubt will try to invade your mind. Appearances will tempt you to revert to old feelings of lack or worry. But the key is persistence in your assumption. Return to the feeling of fulfillment again and again until it dominates your awareness. Even if nothing seems to change, keep living from the end. The unseen realm responds to consistency. Your sustained assumption becomes the command that the universe must obey. This is the art of conscious creation. To dwell in the state of already having, to feel the victory before the battle, to embody the answered prayer before it appears. Once your inner world accepts it as truth, your outer world cannot resist reflecting it. Live inwardly as though the dream has already come true, and soon what was once invisible will stand before you as undeniable reality. The middle is the hardest, but also the holiest. It's the space between believing and receiving, the stretch between the promise and its fulfillment. It's where doubt whispers loudest, where patience is tested, and where faith must stand alone. Yet even though it feels like nothing is happening, everything is happening. The invisible construction site of your destiny is alive and active, arranging every piece of your future with divine precision. You cannot yet see the blueprint, but heaven is building in silence. The middle feels hard because it asks you to trust without proof. It asks you to walk by faith when sight gives you no encouragement. This is where many give up, not because the dream was impossible, but because the silence convinced them it was over. But silence is not absence. Stillness is not stagnation. When life seems quiet and motionless, it's often when divine movement is at its peak. The unseen world is busy aligning every detail, every person, and every opportunity required for your manifestation. In this sacred in-between, your inner state matters most. You are being refined, strengthened, and prepared for what you've asked for. The middle is not punishment, it's preparation. You're being molded into the version of yourself capable of holding the blessing. What you call delay is actually transformation. The universe is making sure that when the door opens, you're ready to walk through it with wisdom, gratitude, and strength. Every masterpiece requires time to take form. The builder doesn't panic when the foundation is being laid, even though there's nothing beautiful to see yet. The same is true for your life. The groundwork of your destiny is being set beneath the surface. The waiting season is where your faith becomes real. It's where belief evolves from theory to truth. The middle teaches you how to stand on unseen ground and trust that what you planted in faith will bloom in divine timing. In these moments, resist the urge to complain or despair. Instead, become still and remind yourself something sacred is happening behind the scenes. Your prayers were heard the first time you spoke them. The answer is unfolding in ways you cannot yet comprehend. Every silence is filled with divine activity. Every pause has purpose. So hold steady. Keep your heart fixed on the vision even when nothing seems to support it. Keep speaking life, keep imagining, keep thanking as if it were already done. The middle may feel like the hardest part of the journey, but it's also the holiest. It's where faith matures, where patience deepens, and where you are quietly shaped into the vessel that can carry your miracle. One day, you look back and realize that the middle wasn't a delay, it was the place where the invisible became visible. Your faith is the architect of your reality. Every thought you hold as true, every belief you nurture within, becomes a line drawn on the blueprint of your life. Faith is the silent designer behind every visible outcome. It builds, shapes, and constructs the world you live in, brick by brick, moment by moment. You may not realize it, but your outer world is always mirroring your inner conviction. What you accept as true, whether good or bad, becomes your experience. Life does not respond to chance. It responds to belief. Faith is not something you try to have, it's something you embody. It is the unwavering trust that what you have envisioned is already complete, even before your senses can confirm it. When you believe deeply enough, the unseen begins to solidify into form. Every time you choose faith over fear, you rewrite your destiny. Fear builds walls, but faith builds bridges. Fear limits, faith expands. Fear sees lack, faith sees completion. And the one you entertain the longest becomes the foundation of your reality. When you believe that you are guided, provided for, and supported by divine intelligence, life starts to move in harmony with that truth. Opportunities appear, people arrive, and doors open, not because of luck, but because your faith created the pathway for them. The moment you accept something as true within, you instruct the universe to rearrange itself to make it visible without. You become the architect and the builder of your own destiny. There will always be moments when appearances contradict your belief. You may face delays, setbacks, or silence. But that's where true faith is tested and strengthened. Faith does not depend on sight. It thrives in the unseen. It remains steady when the evidence says otherwise. To keep believing in the face of doubt is to hold the line of creation. It is to say, I know what I have accepted as true, and I will not be moved. That persistence in conviction bends reality, to your will. You must understand that life mirrors your inner dialogue. If you constantly affirm fear, limitation, or defeat, you draw more of the same. But if you affirm victory, abundance, and peace, even when circumstances deny it, you are sketching a new design for your life. Every act of belief, every moment of inner certainty adds another stroke to the divine blueprint. Eventually, what you've drawn in faith will be built in experience. Eventually, what you've drawn in faith will be built in experience. So guard your thoughts and nurture your belief. Choose to see beyond appearances. Keep believing, even when logic fails you. The unseen is always stronger than the seen, and faith will always outlast fear. You are not at the mercy of circumstances. You are the architect of them. Stand firm in your conviction, knowing that what you believe becomes what you build. Faith is the hand that drafts the plan, and life itself is the structure that rises to match it. In the end, everything you've ever desired, prayed for, or imagined is already in motion. The unseen world is working tirelessly on your behalf, aligning every detail to fulfill the vision you've held within. Every delay has purpose. Every challenge refines you, and every silent season builds your strength. Nothing has been wasted. The dream you've been nurturing in faith is not in vain. It's being constructed in the invisible, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal itself. So keep believing, keep imagining, and keep moving forward with quiet confidence. You are not forgotten. You are being formed. You are not behind. You are right on schedule. Creation began the moment you believed, and it continues to unfold through your persistence and unwavering faith. The universe responds to conviction, not confusion, to faith, not fear. Walk as though it's already done, speak as though it's already yours, feel as though it's already complete, because in truth, it is. The bridge between where you are and where you're going is built on trust. And as you hold fast to that faith, life will mirror your belief with beauty, abundance, and divine perfection. Everything is coming together for you. Stay patient, stay faithful, and never give up, because what's meant for you cannot miss you. Thank you for listening, and remember, your faith is the key, your imagination is the blueprint, and your persistence is the power that makes all things possible. Keep going. Your miracle is already on its way. If you're seeing this, it is not by accident, coincidence, or chance. You have come to this moment because something within you has been calling forward a shift. Something in your spirit has been whispering that the life you've been praying for is closer than you think. And today, that whisper becomes a confirmation. God is about to surprise you. Keep going. You are close. Breakthrough does not arrive when everything makes sense. Breakthrough comes when nothing seems to be moving, yet you refuse to stop believing. It comes when you continue to hold the vision, even when the outer world gives you every reason to doubt. It comes when you dare to persist in faith, quiet, steady, unwavering, because you know that what you've imagined exists already in the unseen. Every desire you've carried was placed within you as a divine seed, and no seed is given without the soil prepared for its growth. That is why you've been stretched. That is why you've been refined. You've been shaped, not to be denied, but to be ready. And when God is close to releasing the blessing, life often feels the most pressured. This is the moment where the old version of you tries to hold on, while the new version is pushing its way forward. This intensity is not punishment, it is spiritual confirmation. Pressure is not a sign of defeat. Pressure is the final sign that the promise is near. You may not see evidence yet, but in the unseen, things are already rearranging. Doors you thought were closed are shifting open. People you've never met are being positioned to bless you. Situations that looked hopeless are being rewritten in your favor. Nothing is still, nothing is silent. The universe is moving behind the curtain of your life, preparing the surprise you prayed for. And here is the mystery. The blessing is not coming from the outside, it is coming through you. The moment you assumed the feeling of success, something powerful activated. When you held the vision of healing, peace, abundance, or restoration, you created an inner reality that must now express itself outward. The outer world cannot resist a mind that has already accepted the miracle as done. This is why you are seeing this message now, because you needed a reminder that the finish line is closer than your fear wants you to believe. You needed to know that the delay was not denial, it was divine alignment. What you asked for needed the right people, the right timing, the right conditions, the right version of you. Keep going, keep trusting, keep holding the vision. You are about to walk into a moment that will make you say, I'm glad I didn't give up. I'm glad I kept believing. It was closer than I knew. God is preparing to surprise you suddenly, beautifully, undeniably. Stay faithful. Stay open. Stay in the feeling of already having it. Because you are close. Closer than you've ever been. Your inner state is the seed of the miracle you're about to see. And once you understand the power of this truth, your entire life begins to shift from the inside out. Every experience you long for, every breakthrough you pray for, every blessing your heart aches to witness, begins first in the invisible realm of your thoughts, your emotions, and your assumptions. Nothing in your outer world can grow unless it is first planted within you. This is why your inner state matters more than anything you might be facing externally. What you cultivate within becomes the blueprint for the life that eventually appears around you. When you hold an inner state of expectancy, when you dare to believe that something good is coming, you plant a seed that must manifest. The universe responds to the quiet certainty you carry, not to the fear or doubt that tries to linger at the edge of your mind. What you consistently assume about your life becomes the soil from which your reality grows. If you assume lack, lack multiplies. If you assume delay, delay stretches. But when you assume abundance, healing, divine timing, and favor, those conditions begin to form around you in ways you could never orchestrate by effort alone. Your imagination is the silent creator of your experience. If you look within and find hope, conviction, and gratitude, you will soon see miracles unfolding in the outer world. Your inner state acts like a magnet. It draws into your experience the people, opportunities, and circumstances that match the vibration of what you're feeling. This is why shifting your internal atmosphere, even a little, can create radical change. When you let peace take the place of anxiety, clarity replaces confusion. When you choose faith over fear, solutions appear where you once saw only barriers. When you let gratitude fill the spaces where frustration used to live, life rearranges itself to reflect that shift. You are not waiting for the miracle. The miracle is waiting for your inner state to become a match for it. So many people pray for blessings while holding on to assumptions of doubt. They hope something good will happen, yet inside they keep imagining defeat. But hope mixed with fear plants a seed that struggles to grow. The moment you begin to see your desire as real, before any evidence appears, everything starts to move. The unseen responds to the conviction that something has already been given, not something that might be given. When the feeling of "it is done" settles into your inner world, your outer world has no choice but to reflect it in time. Your inner state is not just a quiet thought or passing mood. It is the creative force that shapes your destiny. It is the seed from which your next chapter grows. And just like any seed, it requires nurturing. You water it with faith, you protect it from doubt, you nourish it with the images you hold in your imagination. If you remain consistent in your inner state, the miracle you're longing for will break through the soil of your reality, surprising you with its beauty and perfect timing. It all begins within you. What you desire is already moving toward you. You are nearer than you think. Even when the outer world seems quiet, even when nothing appears to be shifting, the deeper truth is that unseen forces are already arranging the path ahead. Life does not move in visible, predictable steps. Much of what is working for you is happening in silence, behind the scenes, in ways you can't measure with your physical eyes. Just because you don't see instant progress doesn't mean progress isn't happening. The universe often moves in ways that feel subtle until suddenly everything becomes unmistakably clear. The blessing appears, the breakthrough arrives, the opportunity unfolds, and in that moment, you realize it had been coming toward you all along. Your desire is not random. It was placed within you because a version of it already exists in the unseen realm. Your longing is the first sign that something meant for you has already begun its journey in your direction. There is a divine timing at work that never fails, even when human timing feels slow. The delay you interpret as stagnation is often preparation. The waiting you call frustration is often alignment. What you think is stillness is sometimes simply the final reshaping necessary before what you desire becomes visible. You are not waiting for your desire to appear. You are waiting for yourself to become the version of you who can receive it. When doubt creeps in, it's easy to believe you're far from the life you want. But doubt is only the mind's reaction to what it cannot yet see. If the veil were lifted, if you could see all the connections forming, all the conversations happening in rooms you're not in, all the opportunities being shaped with your name on them, you would never question how close you are. You would move with confidence. You would walk with power. You would understand that every step you take, every day you persist, every moment you choose faith over fear, brings you into alignment with what is already on its way. The universe is intentional. Every closed door was redirecting you. Every pause was refining you. Every disappointment was preparing the ground for something better than what you thought you wanted. Nothing has been denied. Some things have only been delayed because the timing wasn't ready, or you weren't ready, or the environment wasn't right for the blessing to be sustained. But now things are aligning in ways you can feel, even if you can't explain. You sense shifts in your spirit, quiet confirmations, sudden clarity, and moments of unexpected peace. These are signs that what you desire is moving closer. You are nearer than you think, closer than you've ever been. Sometimes the moment right before the breakthrough feels the most discouraging because everything old begins to surface. Challenges intensify, doubts whisper louder, and obstacles seem heavier. But this is not a sign of distance, it is a sign of transition. The old must loosen before the new can land. The discomfort you feel is not the sign of the end, it is the signal of emergence. Keep going, the blessing has already left its source. The answer is already traveling toward you. And soon, very soon, you will see with your eyes what your spirit has known all along. The unexpected blessing comes when you refuse to give up, because persistence has a spiritual power that cannot be measured by effort alone. There is something miraculous that awakens in your life the moment you choose to keep going, despite exhaustion, doubt, or discouragement. Every time you show up again, one more prayer, one more vision, one more step, you activate a deeper alignment with what you're meant to receive. Breakthrough is rarely born in the moments when everything feels easy. It comes in the moments when quitting seems logical, yet something in your spirit says, "Not yet." Keep believing. That decision alone shifts your reality. Refusal to give up is not about forcing outcomes. It's about refusing to abandon the spiritual certainty that what you desire is already yours. When you persist in faith, you declare to life that you are willing to align with the version of yourself who can handle the blessing you're waiting for. Obstacles are not signs to stop, they are spiritual tests designed to strengthen your ability to hold the miracle once it arrives. When things get harder, it is not proof that you are failing. It is often evidence that you are closer than ever to a breakthrough. Resistance tends to appear most intensely right before transformation. The blessing that surprises you is usually the one that arrives after you've done everything you could and surrendered the rest. It comes in those moments where you've reached the limit of your own strength, yet continue with a quiet, unwavering trust. That is where the supernatural steps in. The unexpected blessing doesn't come through struggle alone. It comes through endurance, through the willingness to believe in a reality that has not yet shown itself. When you persist, you allow the universe to complete the work that began the moment you imagined your desire. Most people stop right before things are about to shift. They misinterpret delays as denial, challenges as rejection, or silence as abandonment. But destiny doesn't operate on convenience, it operates on alignment. When you stay faithful, even when nothing is happening, you create a spiritual opening for sudden, dramatic change. Life has a way of moving in your favor the moment you prove to yourself and to the universe that you are no longer ruled by fear or impatience. The blessing that appears suddenly is not sudden at all. It is the culmination of every moment you chose faith instead of giving up. There is also a divine irony in how unexpected blessings arrive. They often appear the moment you decide to let go of forcing outcomes. Not because you've quit, but because you've surrendered the struggle while keeping the vision alive. You stop trying to control the how, and in that release, the path clears, new opportunities emerge, conversations begin, doors you didn't even know existed open with ease. And when the blessing lands, it carries a sense of perfect timing that makes every delay make sense. The unexpected blessing comes to those who stay, who trust, who endure, who keep preparing even when others would have walked away. It comes to those who continue to water the dream even when the soil looks dry. You may not see progress today, but the unseen is moving. Your persistence is not in vain. Refuse to give up, because the moment that will shift everything often arrives at the exact point where your spirit chooses to rise instead of retreat. Your imagination is the bridge between where you stand and what God has prepared. For nothing in your life can manifest until it first takes shape in the unseen landscape of your mind. Imagination is not a childish escape or a fleeting thought. It is the creative power that connects you to the spiritual reality designed for you. Every blessing, every breakthrough, every answered prayer begins as an image, a feeling, a quiet inner knowing that what you desire already exists. When you dare to imagine a life beyond your current circumstances, you step onto the bridge that carries you from limitation to possibility, from longing to fulfillment. You are never given a desire without the spiritual blueprint to attain it. Your imagination is the very place where God plants the first glimpse of what is already yours in the unseen. When you close your eyes and envision healing, abundance, restoration, peace, or success, you are not fantasizing. You are touching the future that has been prepared for you. You are aligning yourself with the version of your life that God intended before the challenges, before the delays, before the disappointments. Imagination shows you the promise before you see the proof. This inner vision is powerful because your mind does not differentiate between what is imagined and what is physically present. When you feel the joy of an answered prayer, when you rehearse the satisfaction of receiving your blessing, you activate a spiritual law that begins pulling the outer world toward that inner state. The outer world is forced to obey the inner world. What you consistently imagine must eventually appear, because imagination creates the energetic blueprint that circumstances are compelled to follow. It is through imagination that you rise above the limits of the present moment. You may stand today in a place of uncertainty, lack, or confusion, but through imagination you can step into the feeling of security, abundance, and clarity. And the moment you hold that feeling, even for a few seconds, something in your reality begins to reconfigure. New ideas come, new opportunities surface, people begin to show up. The bridge of imagination is not passive. It is a living pathway that responds to your faith, your persistence, and your willingness to believe. Many lose the miracle because they allow the outer world to dictate what they believe is possible. They look at current circumstances and assume they are stuck or delayed. But imagination allows you to see beyond what your eyes can witness. It lets you rehearse the future you desire until it feels more real than your present challenges. And once the feeling becomes natural, once the vision feels familiar, the bridge becomes stronger, you become magnetized to the blessing, and the blessing becomes magnetized to you. God does not ask you to figure out how the bridge will form, only to walk it within your mind. Imagination is the evidence of things unseen. It is the spiritual thread connecting your present state to the life that is destined for you. When you nurture your inner vision, when you return again and again to the image of what you desire, you build the bridge through which the invisible becomes visible. Signs of alignment intensify right before the breakthrough because the universe, God, and the unseen forces guiding your path begin to gather every piece of your destiny into place. What once felt random starts to form patterns. What once felt silent begins to whisper. What once felt stagnant suddenly carries subtle movement. Right before a major shift, life sends signals, small but undeniable indicators that something is rearranging beneath the surface. These signs are not coincidences, nor are they accidental moments. They are spiritual markers showing you that your inner state, your faith, and your persistence have finally aligned with the reality you've been calling in. When you are close to your breakthrough, you may notice synchronicities increasing, numbers repeating, messages arriving at the perfect moment, conversations that answer questions you never voiced aloud, and opportunities that seem to come out of nowhere. This is not your imagination. These experiences are confirmations that the invisible is becoming visible. You are tuning to a frequency that matches the blessing you've prayed for. And because of that, signs begin to appear more frequently and more clearly. The closer the manifestation, the louder the spiritual echoes become. Often, alignment reveals itself through your emotions as well. You may feel an unusual calm, a deep sense of peace that does not match your circumstances, or a sudden clarity that seems to appear overnight. You may find yourself letting go of things that once weighed heavily on you without effort. This shift is not accidental. It is your spirit preparing to receive what you ask for. The old energy is releasing. The old doubts are fading. The old fears are dissolving. You begin to feel lighter, even when the outer world has not changed yet. That inner shift is the strongest sign that alignment is already taking place. But alignment is not always soft or comforting. Sometimes the signs intensify through pressure, disruption, or unexpected changes. Right before breakthrough, old situations may fall apart, relationships may shift, habits may break, and patterns that no longer serve you may rise to the surface. This is not a setback, it is a clearing. The universe removes what cannot enter the next chapter with you. The discomfort you feel is evidence that the transition has begun. It is the spiritual equivalent of the final push before birth, the moment that feels the most intense because you are on the edge of transformation. You may also find inspiration rushing in like a wave. New ideas come effortlessly. Motivation returns after a long season of exhaustion. You feel guided, nudged, pulled towards certain actions without knowing why. Every step you take feels meaningful, even if you don't fully understand the direction. This is alignment. It is God whispering, "Keep going, you're on the right path." And then there is the unmistakable feeling, a quiet but powerful knowing that something is about to happen. Not hope, not wishful thinking, but inner certainty. You can't explain it, but you can feel it. That feeling is the final sign that your inner world and the blessing destined for you are now vibrating at the same frequency. When these signs intensify, don't doubt them. Don't retreat. Don't question their validity. Recognize them for what they are. Evidence that you are moments away from stepping into the life you were meant to receive. The breakthrough is near. The alignment is real. And everything is coming together in ways you are only just beginning to perceive. The feeling of fulfillment attracts the surprise you've been praying for because your emotional state is the signal that tells the universe what you are ready to receive. Fulfillment is not simply a reaction to a blessing, it is the magnet that draws the blessing into your experience. When you allow yourself to feel the joy, peace, relief, and gratitude of having what you desire before it arrives, you shift your inner world into alignment with the outcome you're calling in. This inner alignment creates a powerful spiritual pull that draws the unseen toward the seen, the invisible toward the visible, the hoped for toward the manifested. Most people wait for the blessing to appear before they allow themselves to feel complete. They tell themselves, I'll be happy when this happens, or I'll feel secure once everything works out. But that approach delays the very thing they want. The outer world is always reflecting the inner world, and when your inner world is filled with longing, fear, or lack, the outer world mirrors that state. But when you cultivate the feeling of already having what you've prayed for, you send a clear, unwavering signal that you are ready to receive. Fulfillment becomes the invitation that opens the door to unexpected blessings. This feeling is not about pretending or forcing positivity. It is about tuning your inner state to the vibration of what you desire. When you imagine yourself living the answer to your prayer and allow the feeling to rise naturally, whether it's excitement, peace, freedom, or gratitude, you create a spiritual experience of the outcome. Your mind begins to accept it as real. Your heart begins to relax into it. Your energy shifts from waiting to welcoming. And once that shift happens, life begins to respond in remarkable ways. Opportunities you didn't anticipate begin to appear. Solutions come through channels you didn't consider. People who carry pieces of your blessing show up unexpectedly. Circumstances rearrange themselves in ways that make the impossible suddenly feel effortless. The blessing feels like a surprise, but in truth, you attracted it the moment you entered the feeling of fulfillment. You aligned your inner world so deeply with the outcome that the outer world had no choice but to follow. The feeling of fulfillment dissolves resistance. It quiets doubt. It neutralizes fear. When you feel fulfilled, your mind stops searching, your emotions stop grasping, and your spirit stops striving. You move from tension to trust, from effort to ease. This shift creates the perfect environment for divine timing to unfold. Fulfillment is like opening a window. Suddenly the air can flow, the energy can move, and the blessing can enter freely. When you hold the feeling of fulfillment consistently, something profound happens. You begin to embody the person who already has what you desire. You walk differently. You think differently. You make choices from confidence rather than fear. This identity shift creates momentum in the spiritual realm that manifests in the physical. And then, just when you least expect it, the blessing arrives, sometimes quietly, sometimes suddenly, but always perfectly. It feels like a surprise only because it comes in a way you could not have predicted. But in truth, it was your inner fulfillment that made it possible. Feel it first, become it within, and watch the surprise you've been praying for find its way to you with grace, accuracy, and divine timing. As you've heard throughout this message, everything you're seeking, every breakthrough, every blessing, every shift is already moving toward you. The signs around you are not random. They are invitations to keep believing, keep imagining, and keep aligning with the life that is waiting for you. The seeds planted in your inner world are already growing in the unseen. Your persistence is shaping your future. Your imagination is building the bridge. Your faith is magnetizing the blessing. And the fulfillment you feel inside is calling forth a surprise that will transform your reality. You are not far from your miracle. You are standing on the edge of it. The pressure you feel, the signs you're noticing, the intuition rising within you, these are proof that you are close. Do not step back now. Keep walking with confidence. Keep holding the vision. Keep trusting the divine timing that has never failed you. What you desire is not on its way, it is arriving. And very soon you will look back and see that everything, even the delays, was orchestrated to bring you to this moment of breakthrough. Your life is shifting, your path is opening, your blessing is near. Keep going, because the miracle you've been waiting for is closer than you think.